bloody cost for Ukrainians. Russian precision strikes target senior officers. Towards phase 2 of counteroffensive. The attacker always has more casualties than the defender. When the defender is Russia, and with the complete lack of air cover from the Ukrainian Air Force, the Ukrainians lose dozens of soldiers on the battlefield daily. A month ago, the much-anticipated counterattack of the Ukrainian army began on the southern fronts of the Zaporizhia, Kherson, and Donetsk regions. During a month of bloody fighting, the Ukrainian army took full or partial control, only 8 small villages on the Russian front lines. At the same time, Kyiv demonstrated its military acumen by blowing up the Kakhovka Dam, which led to an environmental disaster. According to Russian media, dozens of settlements were flooded, and dozens of civilians were killed, to gain some military benefits, which they have not been able to fully exploit to this day. The objective of the major summer offensive was to dislodge the armed forces of the Russian Federation from the Zaporizhia region, as well as to cut off the land connection of the Russian troop group and Crimea from the Russian Federation. Kyiv expected to deliver a crushing blow in several directions and reach Melitopolis in the first or second week of the attacks. The Ukrainian leadership had high hopes for the numerical superiority of its troops, trained and armed by Nato, and supplied with Western intelligence. Summarizing the first results, Kyiv clearly underestimated the readiness of the Russian army. After a month of daily attacks, the Ukrainian army failed to break through the first line of Russian defense. Fierce fighting occurs in the suburbs, a few kilometers from the first heavily fortified trenches. A war of attrition was imposed on the Ukrainian army. The Russian military has now shifted to active defense and largely retains the initiative of the battles, setting combat operations on the Ukrainian army in unfavorable positions. The critical point of the war is approaching after a year and a half. How will NATO react if IT realizes that it is losing the war